Good morning. So thank you very much for inviting me here to, have my 15 minutes of fame. I'd like to talk about something that's very close to my heart, right? And I love the theme of the TED Talk, I believe, right? I believe. And the reason I like that is because whether you are involved in a human endeavor of any kind, be it professional or be it personal, my personal opinion is that without a strong belief in the mission, you will be very unlikely to succeed, all right? In my personal and professional life, I've never worked for a company I didn't believe in, and I've never done anything in my personal endeavor that I didn't believe in. And I think that's one of the reasons that I've been able to achieve a few things along the way, which has given me a great amount of satisfaction. So if you believe, you want to basically achieve something, right? Usually if you believe in something strongly, it becomes only theoretical unless you can achieve something, and that becomes the execution of the belief and conversion of the belief into some kind of a reality, right? Historically, throughout human existence, every generation has always said things were much better 10 years ago. No doubt, a lot of things are better 10 years ago than they are now. Bangalore traffic is one example, right? I left home early in the morning, so I didn't have any problem. But that's one example. But I disagree. I think that we live in a marvelous era. I think that this generation has tools and resources that have never existed in humankind. But in order to embrace those tools and resources, one has to be willing to embrace change, right? The Chinese have a very interesting saying, and they say that change is like a dragon that you meet on the road in the jungle. And there are three ways that you can handle the dragon. You can stop squarely in front of the dragon and face the dragon and say, no, I will not let you pass. But likely the dragon will unleash a ball of fire, roast you, eat you, and move on its way, right? Usually dragon is bigger than we are, I'm assuming, right? The other option is to go around the dragon, stand with your back to the dragon, look down the way you're going and say, I'm continuing on my path. But the much bigger dragon, which is change, is continuing in the opposite direction. And you become irrelevant. So the Chinese say the only way to handle this beast of a dragon is to walk around the back, clamber up the spine, sit on the neck between the spines, hold the dragon, and move with the dragon, but also guide the dragon a little bit. So we live in an era of unprecedented change and opportunity, which goes back to the theme of the conference, which is, I believe, right? And if you believe, you want to achieve. And the biggest beauty of the change that we are living through is the ability to build those resources and relationships. Hence, the theme for my discussion today is, I believe, and social media can help you to enable my own achievement and my belief system by garnering relationships and resources, okay? So the second reason I love TED Talks is because of the brevity. You've got 15 minutes at the most, and that's where I like to present. So what I'm going to just talk you through is a couple of thoughts on how we can all leverage social media, my experience and a case study that I've seen in my own life. And I'd like to end with a thought on how it's relevant to all of us in our professional and personal endeavors. With every change, there are always naysayers. Social media is bad for you. You waste a lot of time doing worthless things on social media. You should not have access to social media in your workplace, right? With any change or any trend, there's always good and bad. It's not the problem of the medium. It's a problem of us in how we use it. We can use it for a negative purpose. We can use it for a positive purpose. I prefer to look at the positive side of social media, and I love it, right? I've been working for almost 20 years. In the last 4 or 5 years, I've become a very active user and proponent of social media, and it's done wonders in my life, right? Now, when we talk about achievement, and we talk about something that we would like to do, why is social media helping us? Because we live in an era where in the last 20 years, there have been 3 strategic shifts in technology in the world which have impacted humankind like never before. These have been the invention and widespread use of the internet, the invention, widespread use of mobile and later smartphones, and the invention of social media. Now, the reason I say social media is psychology, not technology, is because as human beings, we all have two core characteristics. We tend to be voyeuristic, and we tend to be narcissistic. Now, that's why social media is so sticky. Why tomorrow if it got switched off, we'd all howl. Because either we like to be narcissistic and position ourselves in a certain way and show what we're doing, or we like to see what our friends are doing, but both are fine, right? Because that's human nature. It is only a medium. Now, what's the impact of the medium? So I presented last year at one of my quarterly talks at Goa Institute of Management, right? Now, this is an old picture of me speaking there. 10 years ago, if you wanted to have a platform to address an idea or a thought, you would have to do something physical like this and go somewhere and talk to a room full of people and not have a brilliant opportunity like TEDx, where I can talk to you, but I can talk to the world, okay? So the first major takeaway is that we've evolved into a beautiful platform for ideas sharing, and I'll talk a couple of slides down about how we can leverage that to get to our achievement of our belief systems. We've gone through basically 3 phases of usage of social media, right? When you look, especially in the Indian context, maybe because of the lack of internet penetration and smartphone-enabled, internet-enabled smartphones, cheaper data plans, etc., we really got on the social media bandwagon about 10 years ago, right? We're really talking about 2005 to 2007 when it became prevalent, though these platforms have been there several years prior to that. Now, once we picked it up, it went through the roof, right? After the US, India is the second biggest Facebook population in the world, 100 million plus. 10% of LinkedIn users, or about 22 to 25 million, are Indian accounts, right? Call it because of our demographic dividend, a younger generation, but we migrated and accepted this new technology and trend in a very big way. So we're no longer dependent on the old ways of conveying ideas. And that's where the huge opportunity is for everyone in this room and who's watching the broadcast. We have a platform where we can create and share content and hence get to achieving what we believe in much faster and on a global scale because the world is literally at your fingertips, right? Never before have you been able to do that in such a way. So when we started our journey with social media, the first thing that most of us did was we used it as a medium to do the first of what I call the 3 R's, right? So we used it as a platform in version 1 to reconnect. I reconnected with my schoolmates, my college mates, my family, my friends, and it was great because now I wasn't dependent on my contacts in my phone or my diary or whatever. So great, yeah. So now I've got a medium where I can reconnect. And I started rebuilding those lost links, and then that was a good use of the platform. So in the second avatar of social media, so we reconnected, and then we said, okay, fine, great. I'm a little smart individual. Let me see what more I can do with this medium. Let me network, okay? So this is the second level of networking. I used to have my old offline networking opportunities, like whatever it may be, maybe in my personal capacity, Rotary or Lions Club or charitable thing, my professional organizations, or maybe I did something that was, more directly into networking, like say a professional networking club, right? Many exist. But then suddenly, we had this brilliant new platform that gives the ability to network. Now, I'll give you a personal anecdote. I really started using LinkedIn in a big way about 3 years ago. And all I did was I sat on LinkedIn for 10 minutes every morning before I started work. And I put one thought on marketing or management leadership theory that I thought would be relevant to people. Now, what has that done for me personally? 3 years ago, I had 250 connects in LinkedIn. Today, I've got 2,500. 95% of which have come to me. I've not asked them to be connected. And I accept all my connections, right? If you think about it, I've been in sales and marketing for 18 years. If I did 5 calls a day and did nothing else in my professional life, which was impossible, I would not have made so many networking connections offline or physically. So when we got to stage 2, which was networking, the medium itself proved itself to be absolutely scalable and brilliant in connecting to people around the world, okay? And that had its own benefits of sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, sharing information, gathering intelligence, giving us the ability to become smarter. But was that enough? Because going back to I believe, right? I believe in what I want to do. I believe that I should do a few things. However, it's very rare in today's world or historically that any individual can do something entirely on their own. You need teams, you need people, you need information, and you need resources, right? So having reconnected and then having reached out the second hour, okay, of the social media journey, we realized that maybe that isn't sufficient because the one thing missing with pure networking is trust. Very few people will do anything with you, professionally or personally, unless they trust you a little bit, right? They buy into your value system, they trust you maybe as an individual from a certain integrity or ethics standpoint. Very unlikely only because they have networked with you and met you will they do anything professionally or personally in an endeavor, all right? So how do we do that? We've got to move to version 3 of the social media journey, which is what I call the third R. So the third R is basically relationship. So reconnect, reach out, and now when we want to build trust, relationship. So why is relationship important, right? And if you see the hashtag I've put there, to be long, to learn, to achieve. Why is to belong so important? Because we believe in tribes, right? Humankind has evolved from tribes, so we need communities. The next level of building your own integrity, your brand, and your image, and hence driving relationships and resources for anything you want to achieve is communities, okay? I want to give a quick example of a community that I'm in, and I'm a member of many, and communities today are the future of human engagement on social media. You can join communities like Bangalore Foodies Club, which has grown from 0 to 30,000 people in a few years, okay? You can create your own communities, which I've done around professional and personal interest. What that does is it puts you on a digital platform with individuals who are of the same thought process, who have the same objectives, who have the same beliefs, who have the same objectives in achieving something. It allows you to build trust. It allows you to interact and engage with people around the world, build a community of peers, and basically drive relationships and resources that help you to achieve what you want to do. Now, in my personal capacity, if I want to go somewhere for lunch today, I have a community that I can immediately go to, and I can get trustworthy sources. It's a tactical small example. If I want to start a restaurant tomorrow, I've got a community I can go to and get information about legalities, about pricing, opportunities, where to get a good chef, right? It's a one-stop resource. Where in the history of humankind could I have done something like that without social media, right? So my single message is that if you're really going to grow personally and professionally, it is imperative today to not only use social media. We've gone past the era of using your own social media property or page, but it's imperative to really join and be an active part of communities. There's also no point of getting into a community if you're not going to be active. You have to be active, engage. In my personal experience, I take all or most of the connections that come my way on Facebook and LinkedIn, right? If I join a community, I'm active, or I leave, right? And that's how you build credibility, trust, relationships. Those relationships convert into resources, right? So this is more or less the last slide. The last one is only a title slide anyway. So if I were to really summarize my talk today, it would be that we all have certain beliefs. We usually want to achieve something, right? And the way that we can achieve it is via social relationships and resources to scale relationships, build resources through trust, and convert that into achieving something around our belief system. So in summary, I would say, you as an individual are the brand, you're master of your own brand. Social media is your medium, your media, your newspaper. Your social media property is your platform, and your communities are your audience. Leverage them well, and you will achieve what you believe in. With that, I conclude. Thank you very much.